I guess we might as well get started then.
Yeah.
That's what I did last night, just froze.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, all night long.
Okay. All right, well, it's 6:07, apologies for the delay. We'll get started with the April 1st meeting of the Rutland Conservation Commission. We are attempting to be on Zoom, although it's not going well. And we have all members present in the library, Skip Clark, Brian, Tim, Glenda, myself, Jared. And I'm assuming they're probably trying to record this for local cable as well. We'll see if that works.
And he didn't get sworn in yet.
Oh,
So let's see, and I can't, unfortunately, just so everybody knows, I can't share screen. But I'll run through our agenda, I'll announce each item. We will start with reviewing our meeting minutes for our last meeting on March 18th.
Make a motion to approve as
You
written.
have the minutes. I didn't get a chance to look at them.
I didn't look at him either.
it better be because you were at the expo.
That is what?
I was working so hard on Sunday that
That's okay, I'll allow it.
I'm hanging out with the Barre now.
Oh, jeez. Is this the second part? You wanna look, give Glenda that?
This is,
Page 3.
Tim's already memorized it.
no, yeah, that's it. You can have that listed.
Can I edit this, do you mind?
You already did.
Oh, I wrote on it, sorry. I only hit the one change on page 3, second sentence. Just put in a had after he.
Which subject is it? Glenda?
213 Barre Paxton Road. To allow Evan to clean up the work that he had done on the property.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Well, we got a motion, we have a second,
I'll second.
any further discussion?
Clock eye.
Bjork and I.
Keith and I.
Williams and I.
Mafucci, aye. All right, meeting minutes approved. Let's see, we have, first item on our agenda, we have 146 Wachusett Street, request to extend an order of conditions and letter to National Grid. You Brian?
Yeah.
Brian, thanks for coming in.
No problem.
Just wanna give us a quick update on your project, what you're looking for?
Yeah, just to extend it,
Okay.
beyond, when it expires in June.
Are you looking for just a 1-year extension?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
And Tamika, I saw we've got the email request, so we've received that. Is there anything else we need to process the extension? I don't think so.
No, so there's no WPA form.
Right.
So I just had him document it in an email.
Yeah, that's fine.
With the time frame he was looking for, so yeah, that's kind of it.
Okay.
Motion to approve the extension.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Clock eye.
Bjork and I.
Dean and I.
Williams and
Gentilucci, aye. And then you're also looking for a letter to National Grid, correct? Okay.
Yep.
And Tamika, this is similar to the one we just did for Miles Road, right?
Yeah.
Same request essentially.
Exact same request,
Okay.
same department at National Grid.
Okay.
Yeah.
And remind me, they're basically looking to know that we issued a permit and we're good with the project essentially, right?
So specifically, they're looking for the commission's permission for Brian to install the utility poles.
Okay,
So Julian had done a quick revision to the plan that I had uploaded to the SharePoint.
Yep.
I did communicate with them and gave them a copy of the original permit and the extension permit, along with the language from the Extension Act to show that it was still valid, but they still wanted the letter too.
okay.
Do we need a motion for that, do we?
You did last time.
We did last time, so,
I did have a
So moved.
question,
yeah, good, Glenda.
if you guys don't mind, sorry. Do they have the option of going underground? Cause a lot of towns are going, like, they want all underground utilities now.
No,
Or
that's
if-
out of my purview.
Do you know why that
I
was?
mean, we are going underground from the pole, but they need because the power's on the opposite side of the road. So they're
So how
gonna put
many
a pole on our side, and then we're gonna go underground to the house.
So you only need one
Right.
pole? Oh, okay, I misunderstood, okay. Thanks.
Looks like pole 34 is on the other side of the road, so there'll be new lines from that to pole 34-2. That'll be the new pole and then underground from there to the house,
Yep.
okay, yeah.
And that's not going through any
It's
buffer
going-
resource area?
It's going, the overhead lines right across Wachusett Street, and then, let's see. I'm just trying to find, Wetlands are over here, no, we're nowhere near.
Hmm.
It'll go from the pole to the house, yeah, we're,
Okay, so they just want a letter
Outside.
saying they're not in commission's regulatory area, okay.
Correct. Yep.
yeah, I think, for the Miles Road one, I think it was essentially, they wanna make sure we're okay with what they're proposing.
Yes.
I think that's all they're looking for, they just want written confirmation from us. So Skip, you made a motion?
Yep.
We have a second?
Clock eye.
York and I?
Keen and I.
Williams and I,
Gentilucci, aye. Alright,
I'll get that to you tomorrow,
Yeah,
the letter.
yeah, excellent, thank you.
thank you. Alright, let's see, next on the agenda, we will reopen the public hearing for a notice of intent for Simac Realty Trust, Emerald Road, Lot 6. Do we have a DEP file number yet?
No, so we have no number.
Can anyone hear me?
Today, Julian's office did send us the revised page 5. DEP actually.
Hello?
Some comment, so he sent it to both us and DEP. I've replaced that in the file, but unfortunately still no number.
And I know we can't hear Julian, unfortunately. Jim?
Yes,
Jim, is there anything you wanted to update us on this one?
I was actually gonna ask you that, I think you have all the information.
I think we do,
I sent those couple of photos, but then we weren't able to screen them tonight.
Julian?
Yes, I'm on the Zoom, but they can't hear me. I can hear you guys.
Okay, hold on a second.
So,
So I just was, if there's anything else that you have come up with in the meantime, we'd like to be able to get back to you for the next meeting, we'll be all set.
so the only thing that, we got everything that the DEP was asking for. They wanted a stamped copy in the electronic, which we mailed that to them when we always mail out a hard copy and send an email. It doesn't mean the same. So we just scanned the stamped sheets that they wanted and got them to them today,
Okay,
this morning. So DEP has everything.
DEP has everything,
okay,
don't know why that they're waiting to give us.
okay. I'll still be reviewing it.
just the revision.
And so if there's anything else that you need from us, if we could get that, know now.
So Glenda was just asking what the revision was, and I believe it was you had asked for it to be checked off that it is applicable to the stormwater standards.
Yes, it was a couple adjustments to the notice of intent form, yep.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there were a couple of boxes that had to be
ORW
unchecked and
wasn't
rechecked,
it?
yep. I'm trying to remember if we had any other,
The application's been fixed,
it is,
apparently.
okay, okay. Do we have any other comments from last time?
I think it was just the
I
form.
think it was just that.
Did he provide this overall site plan?
Overall
Does
site.
he have individual plans for each lot?
Can you hear Glenda? So there should be a plan that you have with the drainage calcs.
So Glenda, what are you looking for?
Does he have like these lots on individual plans instead of like an overall?
Yeah,
There is an A&R plan too.
Okay, so we need to look at that. My comment is that we need time to review the stormwater report.
well, we have the plans for lot 6, which is this hearing. We'll reopen, in a minute, we'll reopen lot 7.
Seven.
We have the plan for that. And, yeah, we already got the stormwater report with the original filing as well.
Yeah, so you've had the stormwater for
Oh, we've
4
had
weeks
that.
now.
Yeah, we've had that,
Okay. I was
yes.
thinking it came in after.
No, that came in,
With
we
the
had that
overall
before our
plan,
last
so-
meeting.
Okay,
It shouldn't take 6 weeks to review the,
it would take me 6 weeks.
Yeah, I don't think we have any other comments. I think it was just the NOI form updates that we discussed last time.
okay.
That's all I remember. Anybody else?
Yeah,
That's what I recall too.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so we should be all set for the next meeting.
I think so, yeah. And
assuming
any-
DEP's.
Well, yeah, assuming they get us a permit or a file number, which hopefully they will by our next meeting, which is the 15th, April 15th.
And then just one other thing that I sent Tamika a couple of pictures. I don't know if you're able to put them up or not.
So unfortunately, with the internet issues, I can't screen share. I do have those pictures. I can at least pull them up on my screen here.
And so I just wanna kind of be a little proactive. Those pictures were taken last week, and that was the effects of not last night's storm, it was the heavy storm we had a week and a half ago or something like that. And so what you see there is what happened after that storm. And so I just wanna be proactive, so when I start my construction over there, I'm not getting blamed for all this stuff like I did last time. Right, so that's a drainage area in there. Everything flows down the street and drains into that area. And you can see the silt that's in there after a rainstorm. After every heavy rain, the sides of that road washes out, and that's where it ends up.
Okay.
And so it's
Right. So-
almost by design. It looks like, because when they plow the road, they kind of carve a little.
Yeah.
So it's probably, the country drainage. And so I just wanna put that out there so that you're aware of it. So if the neighbors start complaining and this and that and the other thing, it's like, and if I do ever put anything in there, I'll take care of it. But in general, you can see.
Yeah.
That's pretty serious.
Yep.
And that was just after a rainstorm.
Okay.
So I just wanna put that out there so that if you're all aware of that.
Okay, no, thank you for sending those pictures, Jim, that's helpful, and that's good for us to know, like you said, in case we get a complaint or something in the future, we can address it pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I'm sure you will.
Yeah, okay. The two pictures you sent, just curious, where are these in relation to like lot 6 and 7? Are these near those lots or?
Right in front.
Right in front, okay,
Yeah.
okay, so right in that area, okay, that's good to know,
It's right at the low spot,
okay,
right there, and that's where it drains.
yeah, makes sense. But it's all roadway runoff that's contributing to that, which obviously is not your responsibility.
I haven't done anything over there in over a year.
Okay. All right, thank you for sending those, that is helpful. Okay, do we have any other comments on
Anything else?
lot 6? Hearing nothing? I'll just open it up to the members of the public. I know unfortunately on Zoom, we can't hear anybody. probably throw something in the chat, although I can't get to the chat either, so. So that might be fruitless as well.
Oh, nothing in the chat.
Nothing,
We just popped it up.
okay, alright. Alright, well, I think at this point without a DP file number, I'll take a motion to continue the hearing to April, our next meeting, April 15th.
So moved.
Second,
Roll call.
Clock eye.
Bjork and I.
Keenan and I.
Williams and I.
Chancelucci, aye. Alright, and next we've got Emerald Road. Reopen the public hearing for Emerald Road, lot 7.
We're going to 7 now.
Any other comments, questions, anything from the commission?
Sure.
I think we had the same comments from before and, yeah, so I think nothing different on this one that I remember.
I'm still waiting on the number.
Still waiting on a DEP file number, yep. Jim, nothing else from your end on this one? Okay. No comments, questions from the commission members? If not, I'll take a motion to continue this one as well to our April 15th hearing.
So moved.
No, second.
Clock eye.
Bjork and I.
Quick enough.
William,
Keenan and I.
Williams and I, sorry.
Chancelucci, aye.
Thank you.
Jim, thanks, we'll see you on the 15th. All right, next, we have reopening the public hearing for 40 Barre Paxton Road. Evan, welcome,
Hi, thanks.
welcome back.
Thanks for coming out and taking the site walk.
Yeah, so we had a site walk on, oh gosh, what day was that?
Saturday, 22nd, right?
22nd, is that right?
Yep.
22nd, yeah. That was myself and Tim and Brian on the site walk. Do one of you guys wanna do a real quick summary of the site walk?
Hang
I'll
on
tap
one
you in.
sec.
Yeah, I mean, it's, seems like longer than that ago, 'cause my memory isn't, yeah, I mean, I think everything, we talked about a few things down walking along the silt fence line.
Yeah, I think Julian made those
Silt fence
changes
line.
and
Yep.
sent that back
Yeah, the
off.
wetland boundary.
A couple of boundary flags being moved,
Yeah.
nothing major.
What was the material you guys wanted us to change to? I think they included that in the upgraded plan, but
To go
you
with
were
a
calling for the compost
Compost
waddles.
filter.
Yes, we talked about if, cause there's a lot
It's
of
too
rock out
rocky.
there, yeah, if it's an issue, staking in silt fence, getting that, or trenching it in really. We talked about the compost or mulch tubes, could be a good alternative. Yeah, I'm trying to pull up the plan now, for some reason it's only half
What was
loading on
originally?
my screen for some reason.
Did you guys get the DP number? I think it came
I
through with
think
the.
we did, right, we
Yep.
got it this afternoon,
Yeah,
yes,
so they did get it.
we did get that.
And I got something from Zach in response to the comments,
Yeah, okay.
and that's on
And
there
you got
too.
Zach's.
Oh, it is,
Yep.
okay.
That was uploaded too.
I didn't save those to my laptop, unfortunately. I have the D.
Now, with regards to those comments, it was just that we were outside the
So,
RA.
yeah, you can't get on the SharePoint, right?
No, I can't right now.
Alright, beautiful.
Do you remember what, I don't remember Zach's response to the DEP comment, do you?
So the DEP
It's actually a
comments,
plan.
we're asking about proximity to the riverfront area.
Yep.
And I think Zach had an opportunity to weigh in on that and just said that we were not proposing any work inside the RA.
Okay.
So
Okay.
no change.
That's good.
What's that? Yeah, she got that. Yeah. So yeah, that most current email that came this afternoon with Zach should verify that for you.
Okay.
But we do have a number, so that's good.
Yeah, I did see DEP's comment. It was basically asking, I saw their comment, asking if anything was in the riverfront. We did talk about that on the site walk and,
It's small on my phone, but that's the plan that Zach sent in response to these comments
Okay.
this afternoon. So I don't know if you wanna pass it around or anything.
oh, perfect. Yep, it's got the riverfront shown on there. Yeah, driveway's outside of the riverfront. House and garage are way outside the riverfront. Okay. which I think is what we discussed on site too, we did talk about
Yep.
that. Okay, thank you, Tamika. Okay,
I think the garage was further down the road. You weren't gonna be doing the garage right away?
Yeah, that was the other question I had, if, we're probably not doing it right with the house, at least probably a year down the road. So
Okay.
do we have to extend every year and up to 3 years, I think you said?
so when we close out and issue the order of conditions, that'll be good for 3 years.
Okay.
If after and I should say, after like 2 years and 9 months,
Yeah.
if you haven't done the garage yet, just come back to us, you can request an extension to that.
Yeah.
We can do extensions for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever is appropriate. If you think you're gonna get the garage done the next year, we'll do an extension for another year.
Say no more, 3 years.
Yeah, if you do think it'll take longer, I'm of the opinion, I'll defer to other commission members, I'm of the opinion if you think you need a couple more years,
Yeah.
I would just recommend we extend it for a couple of years.
Okay.
That way you don't have to come back every year. Just saves everybody some time.
Yeah.
But yeah, this order of conditions, once issued, will be good for 3 years. And yes, we did talk about that, cause if you, let's say you don't build the garage in the 3 years that it's open, and if that permit expires, you'd have to file a new notice of intent, so it'll be a lot easier for you if you just ask for the extension when the time comes. Cause the work itself will be already approved, so that'll make your life a lot easier. Okay, let's see, oh, there we go, now I got the plan up. Alright, that looks good. Any questions, comments from the commission? Nope. So here's my question, any reason we can't close this hearing?
I think we can, I don't see no problem there.
I'll take a
I'll
motion.
motion to close the hearing.
I'll second it.
Roll call? Oh, wait. Any members from the public? Any comments, questions? None?
Clock eye.
York and I.
Keenan, I.
Wednesday night.
Chancelucci, aye. All right, public hearing is closed. You wanna issue the order of conditions?
I'll issue the order conditions.
Do we have any special conditions we wanna add to this?
I don't.
Monitoring,
What's that?
didn't have to, they pulled fill out, right? But they didn't do any planting.
Fill out. From the wetland itself?
There was an area where we asked them to pull the fill back out.
I think that was the other side.
I think if he can
Or
have
was
his
that a
other
different site?
property.
That's,
I'm confused.
yes, that's the other one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the other side.
Okay.
That's the one closer to Four Corners, yeah, this one is further south on
Okay.
122, yeah.
Alright, I don't know, cause I didn't.
Just
go
past
to the-
Lads.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, I have no comments, cause I didn't go to the site visit.
okay, we'll just go with our standard conditions on this one, I think that's appropriate. Take a motion,
I made the motion
Need
to
it?
approve.
I'll second.
second,
Clock eye.
York and I.
Keenan, I.
Wednesday night.
Chancelucci, aye. All right, cool,
I'll get that off to you in the next couple days.
Awesome, thank you so much,
You're welcome.
appreciate all your time.
yeah, thank you.
This is the document.
Tamika, do you have anything on
No, we're good.
the 7 o'clock here?
Oh, wait a second.
Was that next meeting?
So the hearing itself is gonna be
Thank
for
you.
the next meeting.
Have a good one.
Tonight, I was just hoping that the commission would schedule the site visit, and I do have that on the
Yeah,
agenda.
that is coming up.
But if in the
Oh.
meantime you guys wanna look at anything, everything's on the SharePoint already.
It's not coming up.
Okay.
Okay, next item on our agenda are the wetland bylaw.
Find that right.
Take a look at the comments that were made by town council.
Thank you.
So, I did have a chance to take a look at these. Unfortunately, I can't share my screen. but I'll
One of our
just-
members is trying to zoom in.
Can't do it.
We're having
Technical
issues.
difficulties? Okay,
Very much so.
all right.
So
Internet issues, Zoom
she
issues.
wants to join on the, like, if you wanna call on the phone, Barbara, if Lynn wanted to talk, I think that's the only way we're gonna get to do it.
Okay. I'll let her know. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
This didn't come up on my end.
So we got the comments from town council. I don't know if others had a chance to look through it yet. I had a chance to take a look through it. Most of the comments looked fine to me. I just had a couple of comments on their comments. I think the big one, which you're looking at right now, Glenda, So, under the jurisdiction section, they were recommending we delete or within 25 feet of their borders, which is how we're identifying that no disturb zone adjacent to wetlands. They felt that because we had the no disturb zone in the definition section, they didn't think that we would necessarily need to duplicate it under the jurisdiction section. I was reading that and I don't know, my opinion on that was I'd actually rather keep it in there personally. I would be worried about, one, applicants reading our bylaw, maybe not fully reading the definition section, not seeing that in there.
And that's one of the big points of our bylaw,
It
is
is,
25 feet.
it is, that's a pretty important one, so I wanna make sure it's easily found for applicants, anybody that's filing with us, so they know that it's there. Avoid confusion, I also, I'm not an attorney, but I was wondering if it's only under the definition section as we define no disturb zone, if it's only in there and not somewhere else in the bylaw. I know we can add this to the regulations too at some point, but I just worried about, will this impact us actually being able to enforce it? If it's not somewhere else, so.
Yeah,
I was of the opinion that we just leave it as is, and just, maybe we check with town council and just see if they have any issue with that. I know that's not their recommendation necessarily, but if they don't see an issue with us leaving it in there, that would be my preference.
I agree.
Okay. Town council did have a good point, I think it's worth discussing. So they mentioned that some towns and cities, when they enact a bylaw or an ordinance, they'll include buffer zone as a protected resource area itself. Have you dealt with that, Glenn?
no,
I haven't either.
no,
And their comment was
And I don't
simply
think it's-
pointing out that it's an option. If we wanted to do that, we could, but they said it's up
I
to
don't
us.
like that, but
Okay,
it's up, you guys can, but, I mean, it's an upland buffer.
yeah.
So why would we call it a protected resource area? I just, yeah. I mean, I can see like with the vernal pools, the vernal pool resource area is 100 feet out from the mean annual high water. In that instance, the upland part is part of the resource area, but
Yep.
yeah, I don't know. Any work which falls within 100 feet of the previously mentioned resource areas must be approved by the commission. Some bylaws include buffer zone as a protected resource area, so, policy decision,
It's up to
what do you guys
us.
think?
I personally don't think we need to.
No, I don't either.
I wonder too, if we were to do that, and I don't know how other towns or cities deal with this that have done this, would that also then kick in some requirements for replication or mitigation in buffer zone? Which
Yeah,
is, you know,
right? It's
I mean,
just-
sometimes we ask for some form of mitigation if a lot of buffer zones impacted, but it's not like a
Yeah.
1-to-1 or 2-to-1 ratio. It's not,
Right.
it's not to the level of impact to a resource area itself, so I'm okay with just leaving it as is and just calling it buffer zone.
Sure.
Me too.
Yep, me too.
Okay, okay. It's a good question though, I'm glad he brought it up, cause I had not even thought of that as an option, honestly. I don't think I've run into that before in other
Me
towns
neither.
and cities.
Never seen it.
Okay, what section was that you were talking?
That comment was under section 3A,
Jurisdiction,
yes,
okay.
yes. Did you guys receive the comments from town council too? You did, okay. So that was a comment from town council,
Right,
was just leaving it up to us.
but I'm getting on this thing, I'm getting the corrected where they've crossed it off and it's a different color, but not that little sideline thing where he
Oh,
made
where the comments, that's where
So-
that comment was, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Do you have it open on, is it in Microsoft Word? Or is it some other software? Sometimes there's a toggle where you can turn it on so you can see those comments. But,
no, because I don't have Word on this iPad, so
okay.
it's just coming in from what was on the email.
okay. Okay, got it. Let's see, so the next comment they had, under section 4 definitions, and under the definition of alter or alteration, they commented, the very last item, which is item K, application of pesticides or
I just don't
herbicides.
have them, it won't sure the mark does.
Town council's comment on that was, in their opinion, we don't have the authority to regulate pesticide or herbicide use. Case law has established that local bylaws and regulations seeking to regulate herbicide or pesticide use are preempted by the Mass Pesticide Control Act. So he's suggesting that we take it out, item K, under the definition of alter or alteration.
I think we should. Like when we get exempt maintenance notifications from like National Grid or the railroad, they're already under very strict
Yeah.
guidelines on where they can use it, how much they can apply.
I'm not
They have
familiar
to-
with the Pesticide Control Act,
they have
but
to
I assume
completely
they're
avoid-
complying with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really mix.
And I believe your pesticide applicator person has to be licensed, you know, they take a test and they become licensed, so they should know that stuff.
Yeah, okay. And I think by taking this out of this definition, it basically means that if an applicant were to use pesticides or herbicides in a resource area, it wouldn't necessarily kick in the need for a filing.
Right,
I think that's really what this gets at. But they would be abiding
Yeah.
by other state laws, so.
yeah, and I mean, the thing too is invasive species, like sometimes that's the only way, or like
Get rid of
aquatic nuisance
Is there a
vegetation.
notification required to the
So,
town or to the country?
Trying to think, like, we've got notifications about some applications in town, like, I think when they do Dem and Pond, we usually get notified, right?
Yeah, so I believe you get notified if there's an open permit. I know the pond associations have special permits that are good for 5 years at a time. So when they do it on an annual or biannual basis, they just send us a letter and say,
Right.
this is what we're
So-
doing and this is what we're using.
But if it's just a random one by National Grid or whatever, there's really no notification.
We don't usually get that.
I don't think so. And I was reading the wetlands protection regulations, cause I'm not as familiar with the herbicide, pesticide application. I noticed there are actually several exemptions in the WPA for them as well.
Mm,
Oh, yeah.
So in a lot of cases, they don't even, under the state, they don't have to file with us. As long as they're following the other state
Yeah.
regulations, which they have to, obviously.
I think maybe they just send them, like I get those all the time,
Okay.
or I get them all the time from National Grid. Even if they're doing exempt maintenance on their power lines,
They'll let you know at least.
they're replacing overhead structures
Okay.
or whatever. Yeah, we always get them, I don't, the consultant that's working for the company should be sending the commission information
Yeah,
on their right-of-way management plans,
just a heads up. Okay.
just. So, you know.
Well, I'm okay deferring to town council on this, and just taking out that item K, if others are okay with that.
I think so.
Yeah,
Okay, all right. Let's see, there's a lot of little comments throughout the document, corrections to like MGL, correcting it to GL,
Minor.
very minor things, I'm gonna skip over those.
Yeah, the other one
I
is.
just wanted to see if there's anything else significant that we wanna talk about.
Yes, but our bylaws do the other ones
Let's
say N or G.
see,
Okay.
there might have been maybe one other item. Town council did add this is under section 6B3. They did add, I think, 2 or 3 sentences, so let me see, 6B, 6 is applications and fees, B is fees, and then item 3, let's read this real quick. This is related to if we were to have a peer review done and would need the applicant to cover the consultant fee. Town council added the following sentences to this paragraph. I'll try to summarize quickly. Applicants can appeal our choice of a consultant to the select board within 7 days. Grounds for such appeal have to be limited to claims that the consultant has a conflict of interest, doesn't possess the minimum required qualifications. Minimum qualifications consist of educational degree in or related to the field at issue, or 3 or more years of practice in the field. So they added a few sentences just qualifying that there's a process that the applicants can appeal. But it has to be specific to conflict of interest or does not meet minimum required qualifications. That sounded reasonable.
Yeah, I
Any
like,
problem with that?
I've seen that a lot
Okay,
in a lot of bylaws, so
Yeah.
I think it's good to have
that
it.
seemed good to me, okay.
Back up to the definition for no disturb zone.
Yeah, sure.
I don't like it at all.
No?
It sounds weird.
Let's see, so back to definitions, section 4, no disturb zone. So we had written it, lands within 25 feet of any protected resource area, beginning at the upland edge of the protected resource area and extending 25 feet into the upland.
So
That was our definition
could we
originally.
reword that to, I don't like edge, upland edge or anything like, or edge at all. Could we just say beginning at the resource area boundary and extending 25 feet into the adjacent upland or something like that?
Did you
take out.
did you see the comments that town council had on this one? Cause they did modify this a little bit.
Where was that one? Over here, you mean?
No, go back, same one. So their modifications, so they deleted upland. So instead of
But
saying,
edge is not, we want it to start at the resource area boundary. What's edge? I mean, that's so vague. What's the edge? You know what I mean?
The edge of the area.
I would,
It's the flagged boundary.
yep,
I don't know, it's just me.
Yep.
I just don't like how this definition's written.
I would consider edge to be synonym to boundary personally, but if you think we should strengthen that language, this is our chance to do so.
I feel like boundary is more definitive towards, a wetland boundary.
Yeah,
Lands within 25 feet of it.
Can you
Wonder
put
what
both of them in there, edge or boundary,
definitions they
or
yeah,
have it. Beginning at the resource area boundary. Beginning at the protected resource area boundary. And extending 25 feet into the. It doesn't extend into the buffer zone where no alterations are prohibited. Like, I don't like that.
really,
The 20 we're talking about that it's right here, that it's a 25-foot upland adjacent to resource area. Does he mean extending into the 100-foot buffer zone?
no, he's saying, so let me read it with town council's edit, so here's how they suggested we write this one. Lands within 25 feet of any protected resource area, beginning at the edge of the protected resource area and extending 25 feet into the buffer zone where no alterations are permitted. So that's their suggested.
All you have to say is extending for 25 feet where no alteration is allowed. You know what I mean? Like, it's just confusing. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, I honestly,
25 feet's 25 feet, where they got it there.
I was,
25 feet into the buffer zone. The 25-foot is the buffer zone. That's my problem. It
Well,
sounds like it's
the-
extending into another buffer zone.
the buffer,
It's a no touch.
the buffer zone is 100
Let's
feet.
call it a no-touch zone then.
No, then, because then you're gonna be 50 feet out, another 25 feet, so that's no way.
Well, the buffer zone's not
Just
25
messing with you,
feet,
Skip.
buffer zone's 100 feet.
Okay, it's just, I just don't care for it, but whatever you guys want is fine with me.
Well, if you.
Trying to make you happy.
Or I could look at the other definitions that people have.
I do like the idea of maybe either replacing or supplementing edge with boundary.
Boundary,
Yeah, I do like that. I think that makes it a little bit clearer.
Okay, I could work with that if the rest, you could leave the rest.
So that's as easy as that, or just swap the words. Fine, easy.
Yeah.
Do we,
Here's wondering, was that town council suggestion or are we gonna make that edit.
So that would be an additional edit.
Okay, on our part, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had edge in there originally.
What I can do, Tamika, I can revise it in the version I'm working in.
Oh,
And I can
great,
send that to you, so that has,
that's awesome.
that's the one I sent you earlier today.
Okay,
I can just add to that one. if that
perfect, thank you.
works. And that
Yep.
has all of the town council's previous edits too.
Great, and then I'll finalize it with them.
Do we wanna replace edge with boundary, or do we wanna say
Think so.
edge or boundary?
I think we should replace it.
Replace?
Too
Okay.
confusing. Boundary is wide, edge is sharp.
So we'll say lands, so no disturb zone definition, lands within 25 feet of any protected resource area, beginning at the boundary of the protected resource area and extending 25 feet into the, and as town council commented, buffer zone where no alterations are permitted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the thing is, when he says
We
buffer
do-
zone where no alteration are permitted, that is the no disturb zone.
Okay,
Yes,
Alright.
which is the term we're defining here,
Right, so you can't use the
Yeah,
term
and we
here.
have to
He's kinda
say-
rewording it,
right, and we have to say no alterations are permitted.
which says,
that's
Yeah.
what,
where no alterations are permitted.
Right, so it's probably
Well, it
fine
says
how
it.
it is.
Um,
Yeah.
It's,
All right.
I can see what you're saying.
Thanks.
I'm okay with the way it was written, revised by town council.
With the substitution of boundary.
With the substitution of boundary, yeah, I do like that. I
Alright.
think that's a little bit clearer than edge.
Alright, let's do it.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, Jared. you
No, that's
first.
okay. Did you have anything else in
I
definitions?
Went backward, no.
It's okay. We only wanna do this once. For a bylaw at least. Regs will be a little bit easier to do later. Let's see, let me just see if there are any other significant edits in here. There was one, it's a minor modification, but I'll mention it, under section 7, notice and hearings, section B, hearings, item number 5. So we had the commission shall have authority to continue the hearing, et cetera, et cetera. Town council suggested revising that. The commission shall have authority to request the applicant's consent to continue the hearing. Which, I agree with that, I think actually we do need
Oh, yeah,
the applicant to
they have to do, request
confirm
it.
that that's okay with them.
Right.
Cause they can choose to say, no, we don't wanna continue the hearing. And then at that point, and actually, town council wrote this in here, we would base a decision on the information that we have at that point. You know, if we were trying to, if we suggested continuing a hearing because we needed more information, or maybe we wanted to do another site walk or something, so we could get a better understanding of the work, the site, et cetera. An applicant, it's their right to say, nope, we just want you to make a decision based on what information you've been provided to date. So that's basically the updates to that section. Those made sense to me.
Yeah, and that's weird, cause this is right in the state act.
Oh, really?
I don't know why we would have it written differently.
Maybe it wasn't in the MACC template
I don't
one?
know.
Yeah. Yeah, those edits seem pretty good to me.
Need for additional information and plans deemed necessary locations. Snow cover preventing the commission from verifying wetland delineations?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that was a slight update, but saying the same thing
Other
essentially.
town boards, including the planning board. Oh, do we have in here? The state act says that you can, you don't have to vote on a project if they haven't received all of their other permits under a general bylaw. Like, say they didn't get their land disturbance permit and they don't have, under the local stormwater bylaw, the commission doesn't have to issue any decisions if there's outstanding, other outstanding
Other local
permits.
permits?
Yeah, I don't know why we would do that, but it's I didn't know if that was in here.
What kind of local permits do you mean by that? Like, I don't believe we have a land disturbance.
Just under any general bylaw of the
But
town.
like if they had if they needed a subdivision review
Not
approval or?
Not zoning or planning,
No, oh, okay.
a general bylaw, so
We
a
have
stormwater bylaw.
permits under our general bylaws, do we? I think sign
guys have a-
permit.
do you have a
is the only one
stormwater
we have in
bylaw?
there. No, well,
Well,
It's
yeah.
being- Are you working
on it?
There's
It's in the
no,
process.
yeah.
right, I don't think there's a permit associated with it yet.
Oh,
Are you
okay.
talking about a building permit?
No, not zoning or building, those are
No, I know what you're
different.
talking about. Yeah, something that's related to like land disturbance.
Non-zoning
Yeah,
bylaws.
yeah. I don't think the town currently has anything
Yeah.
like that.
What I can think of is a sign permit,
Yeah,
like a business,
yeah, yeah, which
and that goes through the planning board.
probably wouldn't apply to projects that we would see.
Just wondered, what's all this?
Yeah, that section 9, permits and conditions, town council suggested removing the last sentence under sections A and B. And I think it's exactly the same wording that they're suggesting we delete. They said relying on impacts to other unrelated resource areas not legally defensible in their opinion. And
Under unrelated, it does apply in the riverfront area.
well,
That's the only one I can think of though.
oh, I see what you mean.
You have to look at the cumulative effects, like someone is in the riverfront, they come in 1 year to put a pool in. Then they come in another year to put an addition in. You have to count the pool as part of the riverfront area total disturbance on the lot.
Yep,
So it's like an incremental thing, but that's, the only riverfront area is the one I can think of. And we can already look at impacts in the buffer zone when we're making decisions too,
we can.
right? Existing disturbance in the buffer. But why does,
So the sentence they're suggesting we delete, it's the
Yeah.
commission also shall take into account any loss, degradation, isolation, and replacement or replication of such protected resource areas elsewhere in the community and the watershed, resulting
Huh?
from past activities, whether permitted, unpermitted, or exempt, and foreseeable future activities.
Excuse
I-
me, could you repeat where that is?
Yeah, section 9,
Mhm.
item A and B. The last sentence in both of those paragraphs, town council suggesting we delete those sentences.
I wonder where Melissa got this. That must be in the,
Could be in the MACC template
Yeah.
bylaw. I'm guessing it is. I'd have to check, I don't know. I kinda get their reasoning here because it talks about impacts elsewhere in the community and the watershed. I don't know.
and he says in his opinion,
Yeah,
not legally defensible in his
Yeah.
opinion, so. That's why we sent it to council, right?
right, yeah, yep. If we
I
leave
don't-
that in there, I read it as we can require things of an applicant if they, impacted something on another property that has nothing to do with their current application. That's how I read it, which that doesn't make sense
Yeah,
to me.
no.
Which is why I
The
can,
question came up, if you remember, during the public info session, because a resident had interpreted it that way.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you guys had to clarify that, no, it didn't mean in the entire
Right,
community.
I mean, I could see if somebody took a giant parcel and broke it up into 15 lots, like Julian does all the time. You know what I mean? But. And you can look at the impacts for the common development, but
Sure.
not, it would be a single incomplete project. I don't have any trouble with taking that out.
I'm okay with it.
It's already in the Riverfront Act, or whatever it's called,
Yeah,
for cumulative impacts.
right, yeah. Yeah, I don't think that would, deleting this sentence, I don't think would negate that requirement, in my opinion. Because riverfront requirements are what they are.
Right,
And you're
okay.
right, I really read this as we could put requirements on an applicant for something they do on a totally different property that is unrelated to what they're in front of us for, which, that's why I read their comment and said, yeah, that kinda makes sense, we probably should delete the sentence.
Yeah.
That was my take.
I think we should nix that too.
Would that include if, let's say, someone's on a isolated site, they do something that breaches the erosion control barrier, causes a problem on the site next to them, over the property line?
Yep.
It would really still be that person's
That,
problem?
yeah,
Is that what
once,
that's talking about?
yeah, once a resource area is impacted, it gives the commission automatic jurisdiction.
It does. And I would, in that case, Tim, I would say if they have a barrier up, there's an issue, it's breached, and there's migration of sediment to,
And
say, a
let's
neighbor's
and
property.
even if it was not just a mistake, but
Yeah,
if they
yeah.
did something wrong, they just dug it up for some
It
reason
happens.
and it caused a problem on the other property.
If we already have an order of
You
conditions
can't-
for
wouldn't be
that,
really fair to go against the owner of the property that it happened to,
agreed.
or is that how it goes? I'm not sure.
I think it would be, so assuming we have an order already on that project that caused it, I think it'd be within our right to say to that applicant, you have to clean this up, including what you impacted on your neighbor's property too.
But would that be taken, is that, or am I reading too far into it?
I don't know, that's a good question. I don't think that's what it's referring to. Because this sentence that town council suggested us to delete, this is under permits and conditions, so this would be before we issue an order of conditions.
Okay.
This would be as we're reviewing a project and their application and maybe
right.
thinking about
They're
what.
trying to avoid throwing something else in.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's how I read it,
Yeah,
is
that
that we can't throw in conditions to say, hey,
Clean this up over here
Mr. or
too.
Mrs. Applicant, we know you're here to us for this property, but you also own this property across town and we noticed you did this and we want you to fix that. You know, it's like, I think that's what this sentence is saying, that's how I
Yeah,
interpreted
that
it.
makes sense.
And I think
Yeah.
that's why town council is saying, yeah, you really can't do that.
Right.
Cause it wouldn't be relevant to the application in front of us if we were to try to do something like that. Which makes sense.
All resource area was impacted. The commission shall impose conditions.
I don't know. Others agree, disagree?
I'm fine with you guys.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I think we defer to town council on this one. They make a good point. Okay, let's see what else we got. Minor comments. This was actually a pretty good comment they had. They added section 13, titled it waiver, and then added a paragraph related to waiver requests. Which,
Was this the one that Peter said we didn't have to include? Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
didn't have to include
The
the
waiver
waivers.
section. Was that Melissa's comment? I can't remember.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know.
The commission may, what is it saying, Jared?
Commission may waive specifically identified and requested procedures, design specifications, performance standards, or other requirements set forth in this bylaw and/or its regulations, provided that the commission finds in writing, after a public hearing, that there are no reasonable conditions or alternatives that would allow the proposed activity to proceed in compliance with said requirements, that avoidance, minimization, and mitigation have been employed to the maximum extent feasible, and that the waiver is necessary to accommodate an overriding public interest or to avoid a decision that so restricts the use of the property as to constitute an unconstitutional taking without compensation.
Wow.
Lot of legalese in there.
Yeah, he's the attorney, I'm
Yeah,
good, I'm good with it.
I feel the same way. I think it's a good section to add. I'm glad he wrote it. I'm glad he wrote it, cause I wouldn't have been able to write that. Yeah, it just gives us the basis for granting or not granting waivers as they're requested by applicants, so. Sounded good to me.
Right.
Sure. Right.
Is there members of the public present? for this, do you know, or do we not know because we can't tell? or-
No, nobody's on
Nobody's
with
on
us.
Zoom,
Okay.
no. Let's see what else, that's it. That's the end.
When is, what is the deadline for warrant articles in Rutland, do you know?
The 10th.
April 10th, but we already put a placeholder on
You got
for
it?
this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so town council and the select board or the town administrator, did they prepare the warrant articles?
Yeah, so our office prepares the warrant and then we present it to the select board and they finalize it, which they're gonna finalize it and make their recommendations on April 17th. So we had asked the bylaw committee at their next regularly scheduled meeting if they can kindly make their recommendation because that actually is a requirement in the bylaw.
So, okay, and that's why we have a bylaw committee to recommend bylaws, so,
Yes.
so you'll go in front of the select board for us, your committee will?
Sure.
I mean, should we have like our chair present or something?
It's up to you. Sometimes the board or committee or whomever is recommending the or presenting the warrant article will come to that meeting. It's a joint meeting of the finance committee and the select
select
board
board,
because they
'cause-
both have to make recommendations.
Right.
So
Town meeting.
they do have the ability to say, no, we're not gonna place it. So if you felt strongly that you wanted to come and argue your case of why you wanted it placed, that's certainly reasonable. And it can be the whole commission, it can be one member, it could be the bylaw committee on your behalf, it's whatever you guys are comfortable with.
I feel as though they already talking about put it on anyway,
Yeah, they're,
the members of the select board.
yeah, they're very aware of this, and I certainly don't wanna speak for the select board, but I don't anticipate that there's gonna be any concern with placing it. I would say it would probably be more important for somebody at town meeting, cause we know we're gonna get questions on the floor, and we wanna be able to answer them.
And what kind of information are we allowed to submit at town meeting?
So we're gonna put together a meeting packet, and it's going to include the entirety of the bylaw. So the residents will be able to read it in its complete form.
Can we have a speaker, can we show photos?
You can.
Stand up and appeal your case, or?
So you would have to get the permission of the town moderator to be able to do a specific presentation that was more than just answering questions on the floor. But that is certainly an option. I know the town administrator has probably a presentation for the budget. So if you felt like that's something you wanted to do, we just have to talk to Randy to get his permission to do that.
I think if you go that route with a picture type thing, it'll never pass. Your answer just point blank questions, add nothing to it. If anybody's got one, and I think it'll fly.
So it's better just to, just answer the questions. and-
Just answer the question, you don't need to build big billboard up there with a bunch of little frogs running around, and they're gonna say, huh, let's see, what are we playing here? No, just answer the question.
I just feel like we're gonna get some push, I think we need to be prepared for the pushback that we're going to get from the builders in this community. Cause there
I agree-
will
I
be
agree with you.
pushback.
I
We need
agree
to be
with you.
prepared and we need to know how we're gonna be defending this. And a picture's worth 1,000 words. If you see someone's backyard that's flooded because they built right up to the edge of the wetland,
If I may add, tactically, I would say that lessons, to start, less information is more, and then just be prepared for that situation to unfold.
okay.
Cause if you, say you had like a picture in your back pocket, so to speak, if that specific question came up and you wanted to show that example, you could ask Randy on the floor, may I have permission to share a photo? And what we could do is, we could share it with Austin ahead of time, cause he's gonna have his laptop hooked up to the screen, so he could have that, and if you needed it, he could pull it up real quick on the screen.
Right.
So you could have it just in case, but maybe
Yeah.
not a formal presentation.
I just want, like, are we gonna have like Jared, like the chair, take the lead at the town meeting, on town meeting floor?
I could do that, I'll be there.
I feel like we should, I mean, unless Melissa's gonna plan on being,
She might be, Melissa and I were at the last town meeting and we had actually talked beforehand.
Yeah.
She might,
Maybe
I'll
you
check
and-
in with her,
if Melissa can go, maybe, but I
yeah,
would
she's
say,
usually there, I'm usually there, so. Yeah, we can field questions.
Because, I don't know, I know it's gonna be
There'll be,
kind of a big.
I'm sure there'll be some questions, and I mean, when we had the public hearing,
They're not gonna like
Or,
the 25-foot notice to
yeah,
zone it at
so I
all.
mean, we heard that from a few people.
I already
then-
heard some negative comments too on it.
Yep.
So, maybe they don't understand the necessity for protecting the upland area around a resource.
And those might wanna be the pictures that you have,
Mhm.
ready to go. You know, if you're expecting,
So just be prepared
Yeah,
for
just-
any
yeah.
questions.
You don't wanna come off too aggressive.
But we don't
with
wanna-
defending ourselves, we just, hey, this
We don't need to
is
be
what we feel is
defensive.
best.
We state the facts.
Right,
Yep.
okay.
are you planning to have copies of the bylaw available at the town meeting?
Yeah, so that
Okay.
will be included as part of the public meeting packet when you check in and you
Okay.
take your whole packet. It'll have the entirety of the bylaw in there.
Okay,
Yep.
As someone that doesn't know much about wetlands, I would appreciate if you're putting something together, some sort of diagram that shows what these boundaries are, like in accordance to a house and a piece of
That would be a
wetland.
good idea.
That would be,
That's a very good
to the
idea.
general public, that would be very helpful in my opinion.
For
Can you
like
help me with
where
that,
the,
Jerry?
Yeah, sure.
Like, so I can visualize what you're talking about.
like what's the 25-foot notice?
Yeah, like
or
where's the house, where's the
100-foot
25 feet,
buffer?
where's the
We
wetland?
could draw a hypothetical
different colors.
property, here's the wetland line, here's a 25-foot no
Right.
disturb line, we'll label that as a no disturb zone, 100-foot buffer line, and we'll plop a house on there somewhere. And label
And we're
it so
gonna
that it's
say-
Even
understood
show
what's what.
the different ones, a house cannot go here, a
Sure,
house can go here,
yep,
this is what we're looking for,
Like a big
different
X
colors.
right through the house.
Maybe that might not go over so well.
and you might get
Especially with-
questions about where the wetlands are in town. I mean, I don't know where they are.
Is that on
they're
GIS?
everywhere.
I know, they're everywhere, they're everywhere, so
Find
that
them
could
on-
be easier said than done,
Yeah.
but people like to have an idea of, okay, what, I'm a visual
Yeah,
kind of person and I wanna see something.
we could tell people where to find that information, it's
Yeah.
all publicly available, so we could
Sure.
definitely share that. I don't know if we'd wanna necessarily bring it up on the screen during the town meeting, but we could at least let them know this is where you can find it, yeah. And then if they have further
Pull out your phone.
questions, if they wanna know like,
Service in the building.
I wanna do an addition on my house on my property, you know, we can tell them, hey, come talk to us, we'll help you out. We'll help you take a look and see what's on your property, what can you reasonably do, what sort of permitting would be required, we're always open to that. So I think that type of response to a question like that, we could definitely handle, yeah.
We just need to be able to justify it, like, there's a good section in the Wetland Protection Act that talks about activities in the buffer zone, like at the very beginning.
Yep,
So maybe if we could just get some of that verbiage
yeah,
out of the state act for why do we need to protect an upland buffer, like,
it's because of potential impacts to the wetland itself, that's the gist of it, essentially.
And maybe emphasizing that without the bylaw, the commission can kindly ask that they don't impact that buffer zone, but there really isn't any jurisdiction for you to not,
Yeah.
for them to not do it.
right, and that we can give them a waiver, there's a waiver request.
Yep.
We've given CLE waivers if you can't fit a house on the lot, cause the lots are like pre-existing non-conforming, they're too small. And like that lot was created before we even put the 25-foot no disturb into our bylaw. We've given him waivers for that type of thing, or it's an existing lawn area.
Like a
Well,
lot of the
they wanna
questions
put
that
a
people
shed,
had at the
but it's a
public
lawn,
session.
Are we gonna protect 25-foot of lawn area? I don't really think so.
Well, I mean,
You could, I guess.
lawn provides buffer for the wetland itself, it
Yeah.
provides some water quality and.
Yeah, that's something.
Maybe not so much like habitat, but
Yeah.
there's some,
Yeah,
it provides some protection to it too,
Distance.
yeah,
So-
yeah.
we certainly could do that. If it's, we look at it on a case-by-case basis
Yeah,
anyways.
yeah.
And I think it takes out the ambiguity, so it at that point, it doesn't matter who's serving on the commission at that time, it's in writing, this is what we do. And so it shouldn't really matter
Okay,
who's serving.
did she put permit fees in here?
No, that's the regs.
That,
Yeah,
well, but there has to be a statement in the bylaw,
the statement on having
Stating
fees is in here.
that fees,
Yeah,
okay.
what the actual fees are will go in the regulations,
Okay.
we'll define that more in the regs, yeah, but yes, there is a fee section.
Okay,
I think too, when we had the public hearing, whatever that was, a month ago now, there were a few questions about some of the exemptions under the WPA regs, we aren't carrying through to our bylaw, and I know there were a few questions about that, so that might be something else that comes up again. And I think we just have to explain that
a really good example of that one.
even though we're not carrying those exemptions through to our bylaw, it doesn't mean that those projects can't happen. It just
Right.
means that
Right,
you need to file something with us.
right.
But it's not gonna prevent you most likely from doing the work.
Yes, some of those exempt projects are just, they're supposed to be in-kind replacement for exemptions.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're on the other side of the road,
I
or
know.
they're going off, it's, so. Some of those can have more impacts than a project with a notice of intent and an order.
Okay. Anything else on the bylaw we wanna take a look at? Very good here. Do you have any other questions for us on the bylaw or anything else you wanna talk about?
No, I think the attorney outlined this stuff fairly well.
Yeah,
It was understandable, it made sense.
Yep.
So
they're good comments, yep.
they got that back quick.
That was pretty quick, yeah, I know.
Very quick lately.
Tamika,
That's
what I'll
good, that
do-
means you're not getting sued a lot.
Yeah, right, yeah, I know.
No lawsuits.
I'll send you an updated Word file, and I updated where the attorney had comments on the side. I'm just updating my comments basically to say for something like, commission is good with deleting this or whatever. Just so that way, will this end up going back to town council again?
Yeah, so I'm gonna send it back just for one final.
Just to make sure,
Okay,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
So with your comments, that would be great.
Okay, yeah, so I'll include I already have replacing edge with boundary. And I caught one other typo in there, I think it was 310 CMR was written like 3100 CMR somewhere, I forget. It was just an extra zero, so I just deleted that. So that's in this one too.
And then you'll help me with the diagram?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can help you with
Thank
that.
I don't wanna do it wrong.
I can-
Like a, some kind of plot plan or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
Showing buffers.
Just
easy to
What
understand.
crayons and construction paper.
something, yes. I'm gonna do
Make it
that,
easy
but
for
in
everybody to understand.
electronic format. I'll do a Bluebeam markup. It'll be, yeah,
Oh, mint.
I can pull something together that's
Cool.
easily legible and readable and throw some colors on it, yeah. But it'll give everybody a general sense of, here's a wetland line, here's a 25-foot no disturb zone, so no houses, no anything in this area. And then
No future sheds or gardens or
Right.
play areas.
no
where
disturbance,
These
I
tree
mean, no,
forts.
not even regrading.
See
and then-
everything.
100-foot buffer zone, and that's the limit of our jurisdiction. And then, houses can go here, 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 but not here, I'll figure that out. Yeah.
And you'll have that ready for our meeting on the 10th?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
I can do that. All right, I think we're done with,
I'm sorry, Jared, I shouldn't have volunteered that on your behalf.
That's okay.
Yes, I just feel like
Too
I'm
late,
not the
too
one
late.
making
9
it,
days, plenty of
so-
time. No, I can get that done, that's no.
So if there's any other information that we prepare kind of just to have in case of these questions, should we get that to you before your meeting on the 10th? Or do you not need to know that information?
You don't need it.
I don't think we need it, I'm not sure.
Like say I just,
I'd be
like,
happy to look at it.
say I have a picture just in case somebody asks. Like what's the buffer do? Like you don't need,
No,
We
I
don't need the
think
materials that we-
I don't think we need that. We'll just take another look at the amended bylaw, go through it and then say, basically take a vote on accepting the amended bylaw.
okay, great.
And then at the meeting for the selectmen and the finance committee recommending on it, I can be at that meeting and, present or just say that the bylaw committee voted favorable action.
That would be great,
Yeah.
perfect.
Sounds good, great, thank you.
Okay.
All right, what's next on our agenda? Forest cutting.
With us?
I think we're all set. We're good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Linda, if you have any photos or things you want, just in case, just email them to me.
Okay.
And I'll make sure we have them for that night.
Okay, thanks, Tamika.
Need a photo of a recent house built like 10 feet from a wetland or something.
Pleasantdale, Craig Bacon,
Okay.
Across from Brittany.
Wachusett.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
The ones on the west side of the road, the left side?
Oh,
I know which
yeah.
ones you're talking about. Yeah, those are close. Those are close.
One of them is on the market. Maybe there's a photo already online.
Oh. They may have a nice picture of the backyard there.
That's what
Or
I'm
the flood, or their
thinking.
flooded basement.
That too, yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure they put that in the listing.
Okay, we have a forest cutting plan, Whitehall Road and Pine Plains Road. I'll admit, I haven't looked at this until now.
oh, I already reviewed this.
You did? How's it look?
Well,
Okay, that's good.
why did I review this already? Is part of it Helen?
I don't know.
No, I think it's down in
What's the
the
map look like?
Rutland State Park
Let's see if I
area.
can find it.
I already got one for, we already reviewed one for Rutland State.
Yeah, it was Whitehall Pond Road and then like a different road. And
Oh, that was a previous one?
yeah, but I think they're all in like the same vicinity.
Jacob Seidel's on it.
Plans are always really hard to read.
I don't know him.
He's the service forester for Rutland and like 10 other communities.
Okay.
These guys are piled on, man. I couldn't believe all the towns that he had FCP reviews in. I was like, wow, DCR should hire some staff.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions or comments on this?
Trying to open it.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Is it, where's this one at? Is it already, have we missed our chance to comment on it? Is it already approved?
I think
Yeah, okay.
Usually
Oh, well,
The kids probably come to see it.
They'll still take your comments after the
Yeah.
10-day period.
yeah. Just looking to see if there's any.
They'll probably just ignore them, but they'll take.
I swear it's Murphy's Law, but I always seem to get these in the mail the day after we've had a meeting, and then you know already it's gonna be more
Yeah,
than 10 days. and
I
I'm like,
know.
I know.
I know, I hear you. Most of the time, the state and like the city of Worcester do
"Oh."
pretty good
Yeah.
management.
I don't see any crossings listed, stream or wetland crossings.
The
If
thing
I'm reading
I,
this right.
yeah, but the thing I noticed was, you're not allowed to create new forest access roadways. It's permittable as a limited project, but you can't create new access ways. I mean, you can like, the last one I looked at, it was like an overgrown access, like, I didn't consider that like a new access. And like, that's what I usually look at too, like, are the landing areas where there were pre-existing landing areas? Did the landing areas make sense based on the site?
Yeah, they say no stream or wetland crossings, there are 4
vernal
vernal pools
pools.
in the area. Pre-existing haul roads will be utilized. Let's see, what else?
So if there's vernal pools, did NHESP comment on this one? Did they have to go through, get a letter from Natural Heritage?
I don't know,
It's usually attached to the FCP.
let's see, oh, wait. NHESP estimated habitat next to FS2. NHESP priority habitat on all 3 landings in the eastern half of the sale area. Okay,
So they would have had to get a letter or time of year restriction or something.
probably, yeah.
There is a letter from Natural Heritage.
Okay, cool.
Oh, yep, there it is. Nice, okay.
Don't cut in the vernal pool when the
Yeah, do
wood
not,
frogs are trying to
Don't bother the
breed.
salamanders.
right?
Leave the
Breeding.
spotted salamanders alone.
They said will not result in a take, so they're okay with what they're proposing. No modifications. Okay. Well, they're good with it, and there's no wetland crossings or stream crossings.
Right.
No, I don't have any comments. Anybody else? No? Okay. And what else we have? Oh, last item, upcoming request for determination of applicability. So this is for that 7 Apache Trail?
Correct.
Okay.
Apache.
Oh, I wish I had internet so I could look up where this is.
It's down in the Turkey Hill Pond area.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Plan.
Clearwater Environmental.
and
Does that sound so familiar?
Liz, is planning on being at the
Dupree?
hearing, correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah, she plans on being there at the hearing.
I've worked with her like maybe once or twice before.
The resident needs to replace their septic system.
Okay.
We did, I shared earlier this week, got an email from DEP. They were essentially saying that they would like to possibly see it relocated. So I sought the feedback of the health agent, and his response was that there's no option to do that. So although we're not discussing it yet, I wanted you to know that ahead of your site visit, so that you weren't spending your time trying to figure out a new location essentially.
It's not riverfront, right?
I don't know that.
What's the resource there,
I
BBW?
see BVW only.
Okay, but no like perennial stream or anything?
I don't see anything. Not on their plan.
Okay.
There's 2 BVWs.
But the state act says if it meets Title V, it automatically meets Wetland Protection Act.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, really? They want them to be as far away from the resource area as possible, or what?
I don't know
Is
what
that's the
scale on
50,
this
right?
is.
This line's the 50. I can't see
Yes,
shit.
50, yes.
Need my monocle.
So the homeowner's son stopped by today. He
Such
did
a tight
mention
site,
that
there's
the
no way.
water line is very high and it's encroaching into her yard right now. So when you do the site walk, he said to wear boots,
Okay,
essentially. But he will meet you out there.
okay. Yeah, looks like part of the system is within 50 feet.
Oh,
Yeah. But being an existing system that they're replacing, my understanding is that's allowed. Provided they can't move it, which they said they can't, there's nowhere else they can put it. Okay. So, we wanna do a site visit? When do we wanna
I'm
do a
not
site
around
visit?
this weekend.
You're not, okay. This weekend's not great for me either.
I can't do Sunday, Saturday is sketchy too.
Following Saturday is the 5th, I think, April 5th.
Well, aren't you just know it all?
No, this weekend is.
This weekend's
the
April
4th.
Oh wait, that's right. That's this
This week's
weekend.
the 5th,
Yeah.
the
So then
following
it
is
would
the
be the
12th.
12th. Okay,
Flying.
Yeah.
just still before the meeting.
Anybody do the 12th?
I should be around.
So I'm booked on the 12th, but that's alright, you guys can.
Okay. I should be able to make the 12th. Wanna say 10 AM?
Yeah, it's fine.
Glenda, does 12th work for you?
I'm sorry.
Saturday, April 12th for a site walk for this one,
Sure, what time?
10 AM, does that
Okay.
work? Do you have anything else that day already?
Nope.
Nothing, okay.
So while you guys are out
Such a
there,
hair.
we have, we received another RDA application for 61 Palmagussit Road.
Okay,
That's gonna be the next one as well, so I didn't know if maybe you guys wanted to hit up both of your site walks in the same day. Mark Elbag Jr. is the representative for that project, so I could ask him to meet you guys out there.
sure,
If you're on that same day, are you okay with that?
I'm okay with
Do you wanna
that.
start at this one and then maybe have me tell Mark like 10:30, 10:45?
Yeah,
Do we wanna go like 9?
what's that?
Oh, or do you wanna go before? Is that what
Before
you
or
mean?
after, what you guys prefer?
Whatever you
Oh,
guys prefer.
Doesn't matter to me.
I can do 9.
And I'm sorry, which project was that?
This is 61 Palmagussit Road. It's an existing home. It had an open order of conditions to construct it. The property is on the market and they need to repair the septic system. So So Mark has submitted an RDA on behalf of the property owner to get that taken care of. They're also simultaneously requesting a certificate of compliance for the open permit because it's in the process of being sold.
Wow.
So both of those will be on the April 15th agenda. But I figured you'd probably
Wow.
wanna do a site walk, so.
Sure, yeah.
But it's some of you might remember, but it's right up next to the rail trail. It abuts the rail trail. It was a brand new build within the last 3 years, cause the permit's still valid.
Oh, it's right before you get to the new dam.
Yes, yep,
Okay.
on the left-hand side.
Got it, okay. We wanna do 7 Apache Trail. Did we wanna start earlier, 9 AM?
I'd rather start earlier.
Yeah, okay. We wanna do that one at 9, and then
Get out of there.
61 Palmagussit, I don't know, probably. Will we be able to get, I'd say maybe 9:45.
Sure.
Maybe plan for that, just to give us plenty of time to walk 7 Apache and get ourselves over to Palmagussit.
What was the address with the guy with the pond that worked on his dam?
Oh, that was like 2 houses down.
Oh, that was at 69, I think, Palmagussit.
Yeah, I think that's
It's
right.
it's a little bit before the dam on your left-hand side. It's literally right next to the rail trail. Like they can look out their window and look right down at
Yeah.
it.
Linda, this is 61, so that's the one we'd be going to, rail trail's right there.
Mm.
And the one we walked, what was his name?
Mr. Warrington.
Mr. Warrington,
Joe
his house
Warrington.
is that one right
Oh.
there, or right there, that's the
Uh-huh.
pond right there, yeah. So he's just a couple houses down, so we're pretty close, just before you get to the dam.
Okay, and I'm sorry,
Okay.
do we have a plan?
Yes, so everything's on the SharePoint. It's under the by address folder. So everything for both of these projects is on there, if you guys wanna reference the
Okay.
plans. Rather than an as-built plan, Mark just provided the septic design plan, because it shows essentially the same information you'd be looking for. So that's the plan for both.
Where the heck is Apache Trail?
Turkey Hill Pond area.
That's right on Turkey Hill Pond, I just looked it up.
Like the cool sandy beach area. Down, like if you just keep going basically to the end of Turkey Hill Road, you kind of, that's where you land.
Oh.
There's a bunch of little small roads, they're more like camp houses, a lot of them are camp houses.
Okay. So we'll do Apache Trail at 9, Palmagussit at 9:45. That works for everyone, or those who are available? Okay.
Thank you guys, I really appreciate that.
Yep, no problem. All right,
So we have jurisdiction. What's our jurisdiction under the state act for ponds? Is it 200 or 100?
I think it's still 100. If it were a great pond, there's some additional jurisdiction,
Okay, but it's, I never know the state one, cause ours
I
is
think it's a subpar pond,
200.
not great,
that's a good question.
Just okay.
Just okay, if it's an okay pond,
75 feet.
maybe 75, yeah.
Mediocre pond.
Yeah,
Mediocre pond,
pond.
Ours is great, yeah.
I know, it's a funny term, how they define
Right?
great ponds, yeah. I forget what the requirement is for those, there, it
And those
is,
are naturally occurring ponds, right?
they are, yes, and they have to
No
be big,
dams.
I think like 10 acres or more,
Okay.
they have to be large. And they have to be defined as a great pond, I think in the WPA or somewhere. There's
Okay.
one state reg, I forget which one it is.
Okay,
But no, I think normally for a typical pond, mediocre or otherwise, probably 100 feet. But
Okay.
but it would be 100 feet from either the pond edge, or if there's BVW against the pond, it'd be 100 feet from the
From the
BVW. So
BVW.
it would depend on if
Okay.
there's any additional wetlands adjacent to the pond, yeah.
okay, thanks.
If
It's
there
my
aren't,
understanding she's pretty darn close to the pond.
close, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, that's it for our agenda. I know, Tamika, there were a couple of emails that came in recently. I don't know if there was anything we needed to talk about. What was the one you sent? Oh, shoot.
So just keeping you in the loop on Bryce Estates, that
Yep, that
the
was it.
DEP issued an administrative order. So they've kind of taken the lead on that. And last night, George was officially appointed as a new member of our committee. Unfortunately, he wasn't feeling well today, so he couldn't come, but he's very excited to start and get sworn in. So I sent him everything he needs to have access to the SharePoint, so he can start kind of playing around with him and playing around with it, and I just explained the process of how I email and what we do, and yeah, so he's excited.
Yeah, that's
We're
great.
full board now.
Nice.
Yeah.
I do have a question that actually might be for you, Tamika, and I don't know if you'll know the answer, which is okay. To get to the SharePoint, I had set up a link on my laptop like years ago, and the link usually works on the first or second try. When I try to click the link in the email you send, that one doesn't work for me.
Really?
Yeah, it always
SharePoint.
tells me I can't go through that link because it's like an internal link.
Yeah, so I have to open an external browser
Okay,
and not like within the email, well, at least on my phone.
okay. And you've got it to work before?
Yeah, I
Okay.
was just on there.
Alright, I'll try playing around with it.
I'll see if there's if I can Google a
Yeah,
way to
I
make that
don't-
easier, because as much as I like the SharePoint more
Yeah.
than Google Drive, it's very hard when you're trying to give people new access and then like what you're describing,
Yeah.
and it's not like a very intuitive
No.
program
It should be
in that
easier,
respect.
but
it's
It
not.
should be, but it's not.
Yeah.
But I'll look
That's me.
into that and see
Okay.
if I can figure
Okay.
something out, cause I don't want it to be that difficult.
And if you, say we didn't have that link you provided in the email, then what do you do?
Yeah, I mean,
That's
you could
happened to me
always-
before, I'm like, I don't know how to get into the SharePoint, I don't have my email,
Yeah,
I can't find the
that's-
email for the meeting stuff.
So you could always get there through an old link, if you had an old link, and then you would just backtrack your way out of the folder.
But there's no way, other way.
No,
You have to have that
it's a
link.
link. So unless you have a Microsoft program on your computer where you would access SharePoint that way from like the menu section, you can only do it via a link.
Okay, that's good
But
to
you
know.
could also just bookmark it in your web browser. So that's how I get to it, is I just bookmark it
That's
in my
what I
web
did,
browser,
and that
so that
does
you
work,
don't
yeah.
technically leave the link.
Alright, I'm gonna do that then.
I ask only because I know a day is gonna come where I'm gonna need to use that link and it
Yeah.
won't work. I'm like, shoot, I can't get all this
I
stuff.
know, yeah, no, it shouldn't, I don't want it to be hard for you guys.
It's so nice and organized though, I love how
It is
you have,
super organized.
I love how you have everything set up.
My only complaint is that it's not easy to transfer information between folders. Like you have to go into a special section and move them, it's not like in on your desktop where you just
You can
drag
just
it
move
into
stuff
another,
around.
yeah, that's my only complaint.
Yeah,
Oh, drag and drop.
that'd be,
Yeah,
that'd
I
be
wish
a
that
lot
was an
easier if we could
option.
do that.
Well, that's cool, I'm kind of proud of all of us for
I think you guys
coming up with that
did an
wetland
awesome
bylaw.
job.
Yeah,
Kudos to Melissa, I think she did
Melissa.
the 90,
she put it to.
80-90% of the work.
And she was growing a human being at the same time.
I feel like, yeah, I mean, I feel like it's fairly straightforward and simple, like, I don't feel like we got carried away or anything, so.
No, I don't think we did either. And some people wanted that no disturb zone to be bigger.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, we
Mm.
talked about that too, that we wanna make this
Yeah.
palatable to most people, so. You know, we do a 40 or 50 foot, like some people want it, I don't
That's
think it
a
would pass.
great
2
thing you
miles.
just said, because that can be our response. Well, we
I
were
think it's-
going,
I
we
think
could
it's
tell the
worth
builders we
mentioning
were
that.
gonna go with 50.
Yeah.
But we thought it would be too restrictive, so we reduced it to 25.
That's a good selling point.
Or another way we could phrase it is that when we received public comments on this, we had some members of the public wanting us to make this no disturb zone larger. And we discussed it with them and we felt that would be overly prohibitive to builders and homeowners in general.
Yeah, and I mean-
So we wanted to come up
yeah.
with something that is reasonable, but
Yeah.
still provides further, new protection for the wetlands.
And now with the Healy administration, with like shoving housing down our throats everywhere you turn, like it needs to be compatible with the housing initiative. I mean, it's
Yeah.
going to have to be.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, they even the thing I was reading today, I found a report on the housing initiative. And they're like, we're gonna make it so no one can have more strict bylaws than the state act, so those won't apply anymore. Like, which would actually have to go to legislature
I did
to
see something
get your
about that.
bylaw.
Yes.
there's like 6 items in this report, I'll send it to you guys, it's crazy what they're doing.
That's happening with our ADU bylaw that's actually going at annual town meeting this year. The state required us to make changes to it because it was more restrictive than what the state
Yes.
allows, and if we didn't do
It
something,
cannot be more
there would
restrictive.
be no restrictions at all.
Interesting.
So they're
Yep.
bringing that to town meeting too.
That's great.
Yep.
We're doing the same thing, and Dave George is working on that.
Well, that's
Tim,
been passed.
you had something you wanted to bring
Two
up?
quick things,
Yep.
one, question, Glenda and I went on that the culvert, Zoom a couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
Was there
yeah.
has there been any follow-up? I mean, it was good, there was 3
I never heard that.
culverts in town that they're looking at doing that study to.
Mhm.
But have we heard anything back from them?
No,
or
I
where
never
that
heard
stands?
anything after the Zoom, but I'll make a note to myself to follow up with them.
And Chris Kolofsky was on there also.
Mm.
It was good.
Thank you
But,
guys
I
for
didn't know-
participating.
Speaking of, but
About
can we,
Britnell?
I wonder if, can we request a site visit with Chris to our areas of concern?
Yeah,
Emerald being one of them.
Emerald and, I think, was it Britnell
Did you say Britnell or,
or Brunel?
it was Brunel,
I'm looking it up.
you said last night.
What was this?
I think it may have been actually Britnell.
Problematic
There's a ton of
areas,
washout, these are dirt roads that,
Emerald, they have to put some sort of barrier
Yeah,
along that. Even straw bales would help.
yeah.
I mean, we don't wanna block the flow, but leave a little
Is that
space
where-
between the
you're talking
bales,
about
like
where that
something.
Gentleman was,
Yeah.
Jim,
was here
the
tonight.
pictures that Jim provided, yeah,
That's
that's
And that's just,
similar
I remember going and
case.
looking at that when he was building up the hill more.
yeah, and see, I mean,
It's
does
bad.
DPW have plans to do improvements on the road? Are there they can take temporary measures until they do improve the road, I don't know.
Well, if you guys decide you wanna meet with Chris, just let me know what your availability is and I can coordinate between the 2 groups to try to get you guys out there with him.
And staff wise, how's the Rutland DPW, are you hurting, do you need staff? Is it too small?
they always need staff.
They always need staff. I think they're hurting more on the water sewer, like water treatment plant side than they are the highway staff.
Okay,
Cause that requires a lot of special certifications that are sometimes hard to find. I do believe there's one employee who's actually going through the process of getting his certifications, but it's not an immediate result, unfortunately.
I feel like municipalities are just understaffed,
Yes.
and not a lot of
They
people,
are.
a lot of people don't wanna work for a municipality, who can blame them, it sucks, you know?
My only other thing was, Tamika, if you could remind me, there was an email, I don't have my phone with me, but there was an email and I went out and visited a site to check out the erosion control that had been installed that day. It was on Route 68.
Oh, 377 East County Road. You met with Eric
Eric.
Wolander. Yep.
Yes, exactly.
And I got
Thank
your
you.
pictures and I uploaded those to the SharePoint, so if we ever needed to reference
Okay.
back to them.
He did, and I had mentioned that there was one area
Mm-hmm.
that needed to be addressed and that he was promised he'd do it in the morning. He did send me pictures the next day.
Oh, great.
He took care of it. I
Awesome.
never followed up with those pictures. Should I send them?
Nope, that's
I mean,
fine.
it's- you know,
If everything was
I
good.
just wanted to make a comment that he did do the work that he said he was gonna do, and
Sure,
everything else looked nice and tight and good. It was just that one spot.
that's great, and
He
thank
took
you
care
for
of-
doing that
Yeah, no,
after
Yeah,
work
thank you
one day.
for taking that on.
I was just making sure that it's mentioned that he did do the.
I'll make a note in the file that he
Thank
took care of it.
Eric's good, he's pretty easy to work
Yeah,
with, I
no
like him,
problems. The site looked good.
good guy.
I thought of just one other thing, the governor signed a bill either Friday or yesterday that extended, it expired yesterday, and it's been extended 2 years, 2+ years, for us to be able to do public meetings, to be able to, have the remote option.
Yeah,
I think that was mentioned at the select board
Was it?
meeting
Okay.
last night.
Yeah, which is
through June of
really, really
2027.
good news.
Yes, yeah.
Now, they better not make that mandatory hybrid, because so many towns don't have the technology
I know.
to meet that requirement.
I was just hoping they would extend it indefinitely, as opposed to
I was
keep, they
too.
keep doing it for 2
I don't wanna keep kicking the
years.
can down the road
Yeah.
because it's provided a huge benefit, I
know.
think, to a lot of communities to be able to continue doing
Mhm.
business when in person isn't always an option.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
great
there's a
option.
snowstorm and like you have a 65 or 70-year-old applicant, that's happened to Holden, and they're like, do you have a hybrid option? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, sorry, like,
And it doesn't force that the chair has to be in person. Cause without that measure, the chair has to be physically in person, but with this option, the chair
oh,
can be
okay,
remote, even if the rest of the commission or board is in the room.
good to know.
Yeah, I think, that's right, cause I think, didn't the bill also extend, it's not just the ability to have remote meetings, but also, members can count towards the quorum even if they are remote. Whereas if we didn't have that bill extended, you'd have to be in person to have a quorum.
And actually have an option, you could technically do a remote town meeting, which
Wow,
I think would be a big undertaking, but
it
yeah.
would be.
Yep, there's a
That'd be
whole section in there just about
Holy moly.
town meeting. Yeah, which is interesting.
So, alright. Anybody have anything else? Hearing none,
Motion to adjourn?
Second,
roll call?
clock eye.
Bjorkland, aye.
Keenan, I.
Are you sure you wanted adjourn, Skip?
I definitely thought Skip was gonna say it first.
No, I did, I let somebody else.
Brian, how are you not snoring right now?
I'm exhausted.
I couldn't handle it, I was too old for it.